See if we can get in and out without allowing too many midges into the building. Let's just have a look over here actually. Yeah, do not want to go wandering through there in the middle of the night. So today I've come back to the Kielder Forest in the far northeast of England. It's almost on the Scottish border, this is. This forest actually goes all the way to it. What you can see here is Kielder Water. I'm parked at that end of it in Hawk Hope car park, I think it is, High Hawk Hope or something. And yeah, it goes on for quite a way around the bend of the forest here. Now I have been up here for a few bothies. The last one I did was about 7 months ago, and that was Flittingford Bothy. So it's been a while since I've been here, because there's only a few English bothies left to do, official ones that is. By the way, just over a week ago, I received a comment under my Flittingford video. And as I said, that was about 7 months ago, so I don't generally get notified of new comments on their video. It's quite an old one now. But yeah, this particular comment, let me read it, I screenshotted it. There's a crazy guy that keeps bothering people that stay there. I saw a thread about it on Reddit recently. He wears a gas mask apparently and whistles in the night. And someone answered back, that's what brought me to this video, very creepy. So yeah, that's a bit strange. I mean, when I stayed there, it did look fairly creepy. I arrived after dark and struggled a bit to find the bothy because it's, you know, off the track, quite boggy around there. It wasn't very apparent where to go in the dark. But can you imagine that someone is actually terrorizing whoever goes there in a gas mask? Of course, it did occur to me that as this bothy isn't that far from Flittingford, that I could also be terrorized by this guy if he decides to come a few miles further afield. So hopefully that's not going to happen. I really don't want that to happen. I need a good night's sleep first of all, but I'd like to absolutely keep my wits about me as well, and I don't want to be scared tonight. Thank you very much. Looking very beautiful though. The sun's come back out again, thankfully. So it's about 5:45 and we've got plenty of time before sundown. It's not going to be for like another, 4.5 hours, and it'll still be light beyond that, of course. But I would like to get there and start setting my food up because I'm getting quite hungry now. So yeah, up here. Huh? Well, that's strange. What's going on here? Let's have a look. Okay, so it's because the app had frozen that I got confused about where I was. Okay, I am currently proving to you why physical maps are still a thing. Although I've downloaded it, I was relying on the location, my location, and when it occurred to me that it was frozen in the one place, I realised that it can't be right. So yeah, I'm just going to have to keep an eye on where the lefts and the rights are, just in case that happens again. Because I do have the physical map essentially on my phone, but I just can't see where I am on it, so I'm just going to have to keep an eye out for these landmarks. There we go, that's the right turn there. Okay, so just got to keep my wits about me now. You can see through the trees there, we're actually quite high up, a big deep valley there. Oh, I'm getting hot in this fleece now, but I think if I stop and take it off, there's a chance I might get descended upon by the old midges. So I'm going to have to put up with it, I think, for another half an hour or so. Okay, I gave in. I was just getting so wet from sweating. It's quite warm, and when you're out of the breeze, yeah, you feel it. But yeah, no sooner had I stopped and the little buggers were all over me. And there's one. Honestly, thankfully there's no literal clouds of them here. It's just, I don't know, I saw probably a dozen or so buzzing around me when I stopped. But that's bad enough. They're all stuck to the sweat on the side of my head. There we go. Yeah, looks like he's going back down again. Perfect. And there's a breeze as well. Lovely. Luckily, when I did have a signal back there, I was able to switch it from topographic to the satellite image, and it's rendered well enough to be able to see the tracks. I find using the topographical version on these logging areas, there's lots of false trails and what look like dead ends but aren't. I've had that when I was going to Flittingford. Okay, just coming up to another junction and we've got to go straight on. There's a bridge over the burn there. Perfect. I can see the wall The Bothy is over there somewhere. There it is. There's the Bothy. Can't see anyone walking around the Bothy, but as I said, it's very midgy, so that would keep anyone inside, I should imagine. But we know we're on the right track, we're almost there. So there we go, it's really opened up now. Got a decent bridge over the burn there. So much like Flittingford, the area around it is like a minefield of bogs and holes and ditches, so you can't just take any direction to it. And from what I've seen, walking along the wall is pretty much the best route over there. Ah, there is a handy piece of wood here. There we go. Look at that. Well done, whoever put that there. So this is it, this is the trail. But which way do we go? I think this side for now. The wall is broken in places, so I think at some point we will have to cross over onto the other side. Yeah, it's very overgrown there. Not much better here though. Mindful of ticks, of course. Alright, so I think we're going to have to go through the wall here. Yep, that looks like it. Definitely looks like people have been this way. Yeah, there are stones here that people have placed. That's really nice. Saves you going through the really boggy stuff, I guess. That's what they're there for. Oh, some further apart than others, it seems. Blimey, how long do you think my legs are? Yeah, we've got all this proper tick territory now, so I don't want to hang around. Let's keep moving. Oh, all right. Oh, yep, my foot's gone in there. Right, there's another stone. I'm really not a fan of the boggy stuff, and this is probably much better than it would be in the winter, to be fair. Yeah, I can see a lot of things flying around me now. But there's the Bothy. It's within touching distance. I haven't seen any footprints in the mud, so I'm hoping that that means nobody's here. I just had to brush loads of midges off my arms, despite being in a clearing essentially. The wind isn't blowing through it. Right, here we are. Moment of truth. There is a window on this side. Wouldn't be surprised if we see someone in it. Can't see anyone. So, this is the name of the place. It's Bellingburn Barn. Is anyone home? No answer. Oh. Nobody's here. Oh my goodness, we made it. And I'm not too bitten, I don't think. But I need to change my shirt and check my legs after walking through that grass, so I'm going to do that now. And then we'll have a look around. Okay, I'm all sorted. It's actually very, very bright in this Bothy. And despite being quite small, it's lovely. It's very, very clean. You've got this kitchen worktop here. Found 2 citronella candles there, and they're quite new, so I've lit both of those. That should keep any midges down that find their way in here, so that's really handy. Thank you very much who put those there. There are lots of candle holders around the wall there, and as you can see, it's got a lovely wooden bench, probably enough for 2 people along there, to be honest, but I think with one at the end and one on this side, that would probably narrow it down to a seat, really, unless you've got 2 very short people or a couple of kids or something. But the floor's wooden as well. It's very, very nice, especially with the pine roof there and the 2 skylights. You can see I've got all of my clothes hanging up there from where I was sweating. And the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed I'm still wearing the exact same outfit. That's because I have 2 pairs of shirts and 2 pairs of trousers that are identical. I did notice this when I was changing though, and it cracked me up. Escape route in case of fire. Bellingburn Barn, arrow out through the big opening there at one end of the building. Pretty sure I wouldn't have worked that out for myself if it wasn't for that diagram. And we have a Bellingburn Barn Bothy book holder. That is a tongue twister if ever there was one. So there it is, Bellingburn Barn logbook. And the view out the window isn't too shabby either. Can't really see much in the way of rolling hills and valleys and burns, etc., but it's very pretty. with the forest there on the horizon. And it looks like there's a bit of a breeze out there as well. And also I've just sprayed some of that Avon Skin So Soft all over me, which is why I might have a bit of an oily appearance. But yeah, apparently it's got citronella in it, the same as the candles, and that is quite good at keeping the midges off. So I'll put it to the test in a moment and have a wander around outside. Got a nice new bolt on this one, very shiny. And for everyone who keeps worrying that I'm locking people in Bothy's, it can open from both sides. That is how Bothy bolts work. There you go. Yeah, I can see some little midges in the air, but are they going to land on me? That is the test. Oh, one's just landed on my hand, so that's not a good start. Another one there is on the hairs on my arm. Maybe I've not put enough on. Maybe you need to really slather yourself in the stuff. What about on the back of my arm? Oh yeah, I thought I could feel something. I must have missed a spot. It just amazes me how something so tiny, you're able to actually feel it bite you. So you can imagine when you get like thousands of the things all landing on you, it's just absolute torture. Anyway, you got a nice little gap in the wall there through into the forest. But I should imagine by torchlight that would look pretty creepy. Especially if I could hear some weird whistling out here, honestly. Alright, so it does seem to be protecting me better. Definitely to some degree, but not perfectly. So I'm going to get back inside where the candles are and start cooking my dinner. So I'm eating late again, but it's only 25 to 7, so it's not too bad. But it shouldn't take long to cook, to be honest. All I've got is some wholemeal rice, because I've got to cut my cholesterol down, I've been told. So yeah, wholemeal rice instead of white rice. And with that, I'm going to have a potato and cauliflower curry. Never had it before. Hopefully it'll be nice and tasty. It says it's a medium spicy one, so should have a little bit of a kick. So all I've got to do is whack both of them in this, heat it through, and Bob's your uncle. I reckon about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. Awesome. I love a quick meal. I think I've said that before. Okay, so first I'm going to whack this potato and cauliflower curry in there, and then I'll mix the rice in afterwards. It smells alright, you know. Right, now the rice. Again, this is microwave rice. They're both microwave meals, but whack them in a pan, heat them through, I'm sure it'll be fine. So let's just mix that up as best we can. Probably going to need to turn that down, aren't I? That's a bit fierce. There we go, there was just enough moisture in there to stir it in, but do you know what? I think I'm going to add some water as well, just to make it a bit runnier. Incidentally, as I said, we're not far from Flittingford Bothy, which means we're not far from Falstone, where the tea room is. And they did a fantastic breakfast last time I was there, so I'm definitely going to be going to Falstone Tea Room before I leave the forest in the morning. Have one of their slap up meals. Yes, they might not open till 9 o'clock, but we'll see. Right, I'm just going to stir this through, and then the next time you see me, I'll be having a taste test. There, I think that's hot enough. If I'm being honest, I was having little nibbles here and there just to see if it was hot enough, but I haven't had a proper mouthful yet, so this is the proper taste test. Does have a little bit of a kick, but that's actually really tasty for a microwave meal. Very, very tasty. Right, I'm going to sit myself down and finish this, and then decide what I'm going to do after that. Probably set the bed up, I suppose. But yeah, first things first, priorities. Do you know what? That curry was one of the nicest curries I've ever had, despite being basically a microwave convenience meal. It was just so nice. I could definitely have eaten that again. I would even buy that and eat it at home. Sometimes when I buy, Bothy food, I think, is it going to taste nice? Am I going to be forcing myself to eat it just because I need to eat something? But yeah, on this occasion, nope, it was lovely. Recommended. Anyway, I've washed my pot up, and I was just reading through the Bothy book to see when the last person stayed here. And you'll never guess, it was over a month ago. This place has been empty since the 8th of May, and today is the 9th of June. And the last person who came didn't even stay. It was, in fact, the maintenance organiser for the building, and he just came to have a look around, make sure everything was in order. So it looks like the last people who actually stayed came on the 1st of May and left on the 3rd of May. So they stayed a couple of nights, having driven 400 miles to get here. So that's understandable. And P.S. they left some citronella candles for the next person to enjoy. So thank you, Tim, Mark, and I'm sorry I can't read your name. Is it Tia or something like that? Wow, and prior to that group coming, the only person who came up was the MO again on the 16th of April. So he came on the 16th of April. Oh, a different MO. Sorry, this one's Steve. Then they came on the 3rd of May. Then you had a couple of people pop in for a coffee. And then the other MO, Chris, turned up on the 8th of May. So yeah, nobody's been here other than that one group to sleep the night at least for 2 months. How about that? So I've just seen it says in the front of the book, this building was renovated by Northern England area of the MBA over the winter and spring of 2024-25 and is intended as a basic overnight shelter or refuge, hence no fire or stove. It is thought that it was built as a barn or stable associated with Bellingburn Head Farm, half a mile away. Please look after it and its surroundings to respect the work that's gone into its reconstruction by a small team of dedicated volunteers. I think I also saw on the NBA website that there really wasn't much of this ruin left. They've pretty much built this place from the ground up. So, grand job. They really have outdone themselves here. Fantastic. Okay, I know you're laughing right now. I know I look like an idiot, but I just don't want to get bitten. I know I've already got some bites around my head and on my elbows, etc. I don't want to make it worse. So I've got my long sleeves on, got my midget on over my hat so you can actually see my face and it's not going to be too sweaty in here. My hands, I haven't got gloves on because they're quite warm. So I'm just going to hopefully keep on top of that with the Skin So Soft stuff. So we'll see. But I want to go out there, have a look if I can see the path to the burn. It might be quite pretty down there, so got to do that while the sun's still up. So let's go. The only thing is, it's kind of obscuring my vision. I can't see very well. That's hilarious. Right. So, there's the burn. How on earth are you supposed to get there? I can't see a trail. Is that it? Yeah, no, there's no clear trail back to that burn. And I don't want to go traipsing through the wet grass again. I've just changed my trousers. Let's just see if there's an obvious way from here where the shorter grass is. No, it doesn't look like it. We're just going back into the boggy stuff. So I've no idea. Absolutely no idea how you're supposed to get there without walking through this stuff and potentially sinking in the bogs. So it's definitely not one of the most accessible burns from a Bothy that I've seen. Still got plenty of sunshine up there. I think that's going to be a few hours away from going down yet. But it's actually very peaceful here now. You can just about hear the burn. Not much in the way of birdsong though. Right, I'm going to go back inside and chill out for a bit, I think. Right, I can take my stupid get up off now. Look, I didn't get bitten, alright, it was worth it. Well, it's 8:30. I was going to wait until 9 o'clock, but I think I'm going to set the bed up now. But yeah, with those massive skylights there, it's going to be really bright for another couple of hours yet. Not going to get much sleep until it gets a little bit more dusky, I think. And I only got like 4 hours last night for the same reason. I was sleeping in the church last night. Bob's your uncle. There is no breeze outside whatsoever now. The blades of grass are not moving a millimetre. Which basically means the midges are going to be in force out there. Not even a gentle breeze. I can see them outside the window now. It is getting dusky. It's around 9 o'clock. So this is probably, yeah, there's loads of them. They're all appearing outside the glass now, attracted to the candlelight. Right, when it's a lot darker, probably in an hour's time, I will put my smidge net on and some gloves and venture out there and get a Bothy by night shot. But I am certainly not going to do it without those precautions. They are coming. There's a massive beetle crawling around in here. I got a good close-up photograph of him a minute ago. But yeah, he's getting dangerously close to where I'm sleeping. I don't mind beetles. It's, you know, quite an impressive looking beast. I just don't want him crawling all over me and into my sleeping bag, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I think I might have to scoop him up and put him outside. Incidentally, I also got some great close-up shots of some midges. Now, they're so tiny, you really don't see what they look like until you zoom in with your phone. And yeah, you can see the kind of black flecks across their wings. And I even got one from an angle where you could see its kind of pointy, mouth, I suppose, what it actually eats you with. They are nasty-looking critters. Thank goodness they're tiny. Oh my goodness. That's weird. It doesn't look that dark, but it's started raining. It's a lovely relaxing sound though. Pitter patter. Nothing too heavy. Okay, it's 10:15 now. It's still not dark outside, but it is still raining. So I'm really not sure if I'm going to be able to get my Bothy by night shot. If it stops raining in the next 20 minutes and it's significantly darker, then I'll nip out there and do it. But yeah, I'm just going to have to play it by ear. Not a fan of very heavy rain, but when it's like this, it's nice. Okay, it's 25 to 11 now, and I really want to go to bed. It's dark enough, I think, to go out there by torchlight. Once the torch is on, it will make it look much darker than it actually is. So yeah, let's do it. And of course, I've got to go out there looking like a complete wally. Got my gloves on as well. But yeah, I just don't want to get bitten, basically. Because when I was away last week, I came back with so many bites in my scalp. It was just ridiculously itchy. Yeah, don't want that to happen again. So, precautions taken. Let's go. Let's see if we can get in and out without allowing too many midges into the building. And you can see the grass glistening now. Let's just have a look over here actually. At the scary woodlands. Yeah. Do not want to go wandering through there in the middle of the night. There we go, look at that. It's about as good as it gets. Right, let's take a little look through the window and see how cozy it looks from the outside. And then I'm calling it a night. There we go. Right, let's just turn this off. You can still see the light coming through the skylights there. It's just not dark. To be honest though, when I woke up at like midnight last night, it was still a little bit light. It's just crazy this time of year. Anyway, I've done what I needed to do. Let's get back inside. Didn't see many midges though, to be honest, which is surprising. There we go, back in the cozy room. Right, before I go to bed, I'm going to set the mouse cam up in here. And I don't know quite where to put it. I've just been thinking about that. It does seem to me that where the wood meets the wall in quite a few places, there are potentially entrances, or access at least, for small mice, if there are any. So you can see, all along the edge there, we've got these gaps that are wide enough, definitely wide enough, for a mouse to squeeze through. So I think I'm going to put the camera down there, facing the door and this corner. Oh yeah, definitely. Because that is a massive gap. However, I've never seen a Bothy this clean before. There's not any food left here, not even any bottles, empty bottles, nothing. This has to be one of the least littered Bothys, if not the least littered Bothy. It's just so clean. Anyway, it's getting on for 11 o'clock now, so I'm going to call it a night. Hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep and there'll be nothing to report in the morning. But if anything does happen, anyone tries crashing through the door, any mysterious whistles out there in the woods, then I shall turn the camera on and let you know all about it. Believe me, because I'll probably be absolutely papping it. Anyway, good night. Beautiful. It's actually a frost. A frost in June. That's crazy. There we go. Bothy's looking good this morning. Fairly clear blue sky, pink fluffy clouds. But it's early. It's early. It's just so bright inside the Bothy though. Now I put this get up on to come outside because there was no breeze when I looked through the window. However, the fact that there's a frost probably means that it's not ideal for the midges either. So I might be able to take this off. I can't see any midges crawling on my hands or anything. Let's do it. I'll soon find out. Yeah, I think we're good. Wow, that's a bonus. As I said, it's early. It's like 5 to 5. I woke up about 4:30. I did contemplate going back to sleep, but yeah, I just couldn't. It's so bright in there. And I'm not kidding, I woke up around midnight and again around 2, and the skylights were still blue. There was still a dark blue light through the skylights. It wasn't black at all in the entire night. It's crazy. Dark enough to sleep then though, of course. But yeah, not now. Well, I've got a long time before I can go to Foulstone Tea Room for a breakfast. I think they open at 9. So yeah, but I'm sure I can find plenty of things to do. Starting with making my coffee. So let's do that. Oh yes. Right, I've got my coffee and I've got some oats and sultana cookies. They were 8, I must confess. I ate 4 of them after my curry last night. They're really nice. And there's virtually nothing in these other than, like, you know, butter and the usual ingredients you'd expect. Not full of the E numbers, etc. They're kind of, I think they're called free from, gluten free, you name it. So yeah, none of the usual rubbish that you find in your average cookies. These ones are really, really good. Still not good for you, I don't think, but as close as you can get for a cookie, I think. So yeah, that'll tide me over until I can get to Foulstone. But I think I'm not going to be here much longer. Probably going to hike out of here about 6ish, which means I'll get back to the car around 7:30, which means I'll still have like an hour and a half wait before the Foulstone Tea Room opens. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, cookies and coffee. I decided to get my coat out of my pillowcase. It's cold. I can't believe how cold it is. Honestly, we're coming into like the second week of June and you can see my breath. Well, as long as it stays like this, I could have a midge-free hike back to the car, so that's really, really good news. I'm not going to jinx it though. Touch wood, it'll stay like this, at least for the next couple of hours. Right, it's 20 to 6 already, but it's looking bright out there. I reckon the sun's coming up over the trees, or at least through them. Let's have a look. Oh yes, look at that. That could be more perfect. Smack bang in the middle of the door frame almost. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. But that also means this frost is not going to last much longer. I think at least the walk along the wall might be in the shade for another hour. If I can at least get through that boggier stuff while it's hard and frosty and midge-free, then once I get back to the track it'll be fine, because I can just get marching. They tend to not land on you so much when you're walking, because you kind of create your own, you know, light breeze, I suppose. So yeah, I'm going to start packing up now and hit the trail. Incidentally, I checked the mouse cam and there's no mouse footage. This is just a mouse free zone, I think. It's so clean. That's the difference not leaving food around makes, I suppose. Mad. So, sorry mouse fans out there, none on this occasion. Right, I'm all packed up, ready to go. Got my rubbish bags up there as well. And before I leave though, I'm gonna have to put my entry in the Bothy book. So let's do that now. Right, I've finished. I've put hiked in from Hawks Hope Car... I always find it really hard to say Hawks Hope Car Park. After a mega rain shower. Found the Bothy in great condition and nobody was here. First Bothy in months I've had to myself and it was bliss. A few midges in the evening and some light showers, but a lovely peaceful night in this beautiful Bothy, the cleanest Bothy I've ever stayed at. Cheers. There you go. Is it stayed at or stayed in? You know what I mean. Alright, let's get going. Right, I've got my funky hat on, I'm ready to go. I've left the place as I found it, spick and span and spotless. Absolutely beautiful Bothy, I've never seen one so clean. It's an absolute credit to the people that built this place though. One of my favourites, despite having no wood burner. Wouldn't want to do this one in the winter though, it was pretty cold in here last night in June. But apart from that, a really, really good Bothy. Okay. Yeah, the sun's not quite up over the tree line yet, so we are going to be in the shade for the walk along the wall. So it's time to say goodbye to Bellingburn Bothy. As I said, one of my favourite Bothys so far. It's so clean, I've never seen anything like it. I just wish that people would be able to respect all of the Bothys and leave them looking in that similar condition to this one. That'd be amazing. But yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but you can hope. Please, people out there, look after the Bothys, otherwise they're going to get shut down. Right, let's go. Grass is still a bit crunchy, which is good news, because hopefully that means that the boggy parts will be slightly less boggy, a little bit firmer underfoot. Right, let's get cracking before the midges come back. Okay, I found myself in the middle of a really boggy section. Whoop! I'm standing on the only stone I could see. I mean, there's one there, but that's not very helpful. How did I get across here yesterday? Oh. You can see it's proper wet down there. That's not frozen at all. Maybe if I just, stand on these tufts, that'll do it. There we go. Come on, where's a stone to stand on? There we go. Oh, we found one. There we go. This is no time to be doing a balancing act. I don't remember it being this boggy yesterday, but it did rain last night, didn't it? So that's probably why. Squelching away here. Can you hear that? These stones I'm so thankful for, because otherwise that would be my foot going in there. Look at that. That's a really, really nice picture actually. Beautiful. And so far at least, no midges, despite the lack of breeze. So yeah, I think it's still a little bit too cold for them, so that's really good news. There we go, there's our little log to get across the burn there. It's not a burn, is it? More like a ditch really. Oh, right, there we go, we made it. We are back on terra firma. And that is the way home. Beautiful morning. And I love that they've planted trees that aren't simply tall pines. The area is looking a little bit more diverse. And some birdsong as well, which is a really healthy thing. I was going for the nice artsy shot there and tripped over my own feet. Right, we're back on the track at the top of the hill and it's much breezier here. Very nice actually. I'm generating some heat now I'm walking. Opening up some views there as well that I don't remember seeing last night. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful rolling hills. Forest for as far as the eye can see. Okay, I'm back alongside Kielder Water. I think this is the final stretch back to the car now. So I think I'm gonna leave the video there. And I've had a really good time actually. First Bothy I've had to myself in absolute months. It was so peaceful, one of the cleanest, if not the cleanest bothy I've ever seen, in pretty beautiful surroundings as well. If it hadn't been for the midges, it would have been a little bit better, but even so, it wasn't exactly swarms of them, so it weren't too bad. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my night at Bellingburn Bothy, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There's also a hype button, and if you tap that, it may give the video a chance of reaching a wider audience in its first week, and I really would appreciate that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.